Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Chad. This is the new channel called Sports Card Yard. Me and my brother-in-law BJ recently started a new Facebook group called Sports Card Yard. We have a website coming soon, and we're going to be doing, group breaks for all kinds of basketball, football, baseball cards. We're going to be giving out content on this channel about sports card collecting, investing, and all the other fun things that this hobby has to offer. We're huge sports cards collectors first and foremost, but we're also investors. And I'm going to give you some really interesting content based around the investing side and the collecting side, and then we'll probably do some box openings and that kind of thing. But first and foremost, a little bit about me. My name's Chad. I have been a sports card collector for years. I took a large time off. When I was a kid in the mid 90s, that's when I was really into sports cards. The years Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant were rookies, and always liked baseball and basketball, and then throughout the recent years I've gotten back into kind of some football, but never really been big into hockey. I've got a couple of hockey cards, like the Wayne Gretzky and the big names, but I'm more of a baseball, basketball, football kind of guy. Back in those days in the 90s when I was collecting as a kid, sports cards were huge. I mean, that was the pinnacle of the hobby at that point, and then it just kind of sizzled out. A lot of it had to do with like the junk wax era. They just mass produced so many cards. You could get them at your local grocery store, drugstore, Kmart's, Walmart's, all over, all kinds of department stores across the country, and it just kind of hurt the hobby. Then a few other things happened with, within the sports world that kind of all snowballed and hurt the hobby a little bit, but it never went away completely. And sports cards actually are arguably a great investment if you know what you're buying and what players to buy and what kind of cards to buy. So we're going to elaborate on some of that things on the channels, but first and foremost, why do I think sports cards are going to be so big in the next few years? Well, there's a few reasons why. One, I'll tell you about a guy I really look up to, and I consider someone that I follow and learn from, and that's Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you don't know who Gary V is, he's a big social media influencer. He's all about cashing in on your passion. It doesn't matter, if you're a lawyer, don't just make a website or a YouTube channel about the law. If you're a lawyer that likes golf, then make it about golf. Cash in on what your passion is, not just what you know about or just what everyone else wants you to do. So with the internet nowadays, there's so many options to cash in on your passion. Whether you like sneakers or sports cards or whatever it is, you can do that. So I'm a big believer that sports cards is a good investment. I'm a collector first and foremost. My favorite teams I collect the Braves, Lakers, football I like Redskins, and there's a bunch of different players I like Kobe Bryant. Right now, Ronald Acuna Jr. with the Braves. He is just on fire. And I'll touch base on him again here in a minute because when it comes to talking about the investing side. But I first learned about Gary Vaynerchuk when his book came out called Crush It, and it's been years now, I think. But in his book, something really hit home with me. He talked about being in math class and having his math book, and inside of his math book was the Beckett Price Guide. And if you're new to sports card collecting, you may not be familiar with the Beckett Price Guide. You may have seen Beckett when it comes to grading cards or authenticating or something. But back in the day, nowadays we can just go on eBay and look at the most recent sales, because really it's hard to say what a card's worth anymore, because it's really only worth what somebody's willing to pay. But before the internet became so popular, we would get a monthly magazine called the Beckett Price Guide, and it would list all your cards, and you would have a certain card worth $50 or $100, and you base it off of whatever the price guide told you when you were trying to trade it or sell it. And but inside his math book during class, he would be reading the Beckett Price Guide, and he would sell cards on the weekend just to make some extra money. When everyone else was out running and playing tag and stuff, he was selling cards. So that was pretty cool. I could really relate to that. I've always had that entrepreneurial drive, and sports cards has just always been interesting to me. I backed away from the hobby for a little bit. In high school, I started, my priorities were chasing girls and other things and having fun, hanging out with friends, and cards just weren't a priority. And then I went to the Marine Corps for a few years, and never really had anybody around that was into cards, never really looked into it anymore. But then when I got out, came back home, my brother-in-law, I'm fortunate enough, he's a big card guy too. We just live, breathe sports cards now. It's just something that we both enjoy. We go to card shows together. We're making this site together, this channel, our Facebook group. He's the admin with me to help manage that and keep everything straight in there. And it's just nice to have somebody to talk about cards with. But hopefully you will consider joining our Facebook group where you can interact with other people that are into sports card investing, collecting. In there, you're allowed to buy cards, sell cards, trade cards. We'll do box breaks. Box breaks, or what they call group breaks, that's just a huge part of the industry. That wasn't around back in the day. That's just new nowadays in 2019. I mean, it's been around for a few years now, but back in the 90s, it just wasn't an option. You would just go to a store, buy a box, and whatever you got in that box was yours. But now you've got these cards that are, it's $1,000 to buy one box. And so some people just can't afford to buy a box, but they may be able to afford a random team or a spot to get a random team. And you're not sure what team, it's a little bit of a gambling aspect. You're not sure what team you're going to get. Obviously, some teams are worth more than others, but there's so many ways you can do those group breaks, and we're going to do a lot of them. So if you're new to this industry, or if you're just getting back into cards, join our group and let us help you. We'll hold your hand. We'll explain to you, because cards have changed a lot. I got something here I'll show you. Back in the day when I was a kid and collected, it was just you got a card you wanted and you put it in a little plastic top loader, or you put it in your album with the plastic pages, and that's just how you kept your cards. And there was not all this grading. Well, now you have PSA and Beckett and a couple others, SGC, but mainly PSA and Beckett. They do they grade cards now, and they put it in this plastic slab. It's permanently sealed in there, and they'll put a grade on it from 0 to 10, 10 being a gem mint. This is a PSA, that's a Drew Brees rookie card there. That's a mint 9, so it's not a gem mint 10, but it's very hard to get this card in a 10 because it's got gray borders, so that you can get a little bit of chipping around the edges, and it's from 2001, so I mean, it's 18 years old now, so I mean, who knows how many boxes and hands this has touched and kids that held it or whatever. So this helps protect it, and it increases the value a little bit, because when people are going to invest in sports cards and actually put their money, their hard-earned money into something, they want to know they're getting an authentic card, and they want to know they're getting something that's in good condition. Here's an example of a Beckett. This is a baseball card. This is a guy that right now doesn't have a lot of hype. His name's Trey Mancini. He's on the Baltimore Orioles. They're not having a good season, so his cards are pretty good deal right now, but he's got a lot of potential, and this is his first Bowman autographed in a Beckett 9.5 with a 10 autograph. This Beckett will give you a score of the card condition and then a score on the autograph. So the autograph's a 10, and in the Beckett case is or the card, the grade overall is a 9.5 gem mint. And then Beckett, I'm more of a PSA fan. I've got some other examples here. This is one of my favorite cards. It's not my most valuable card, but it's a Gem Mint 10 Fleer Ultra Kobe Bryant rookie card. I'm just a big Kobe fan. I'm a Lakers fan, and that card is just so hard to get in a Gem Mint 10 condition. It just always has some kind of little chipping or scuff somewhere. And so I actually got that at a card show in Greensboro, North Carolina with my brother-in-law, and I was really happy to get it, and I got it for a good price. So that's just a little bit about how it's changed so much. Grading, now you can buy a card off eBay for 30 bucks. If it's in really good condition, you send it into one of these grading companies, and if you come back with a gem mint grade, now that card can be worth a lot more than if you just sold it raw, which means it's not graded. That just wasn't there back in the day. So I think it's a cool thing. It's a good way to make money with cards. If you can afford to send in, it's expensive to get these cards graded. So, one thing we're going to offer here in the future, we're going to do group submissions, where if you don't want to pay and join PSA or Beckett and pay the money to do their membership, and you just have a little handful of cards you want to get graded, we'll send them in for you, and when they come back, we'll ship them back to you. So a lot of things like that we'll do to help people in our group develop their collections and get what they want. So another reason cards I think are going to start exploding here is Zion Williamson, the Duke phenom. It reminds me of when LeBron James was a rookie. There was a lot of hype around him. If you were talking to you at the barbershop or at your local practice or school or work, people knew about LeBron James if they were into basketball and sports, and they were talking about him, but social media wasn't as popular as it is now. With Zion coming from Duke, the #1 draft pick going to the New Orleans Pelicans, he has just been so hyped up. The reason that box that we're doing a break for is so hot is because it has a chance to get one of Zion's first, rookie cards and autograph. And it'll be his college uniform, but, there's a lot of Duke fans out there, so a lot of people will probably, be excited to have that. So that's just another reason that cards are just gonna really explode here. But if you look at cards over the time, look at some of the really pinnacle cards of the hobby, like the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card, and the contenders top Tom Brady autograph rookie. These cards sell for thousands of dollars on a daily basis, and they really hold their value over time. As the economy fluctuates and people can't really afford to buy cards as much, some of the lower end stuff will tail off, but those premier cards, those blue chip players, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, those kind of guys, they're not going to just drop in value. There's so many collectors out there that want those cards. Your Mike Trouts, Mickey Mantles, those guys they're just going to go up in value. So we're going to teach you, what to look for, what types of cards to buy. The one thing about the hobby that I don't really like right now is there's so many, different types of cards. And I could sit here and go on and on about the different boxes and series that come out, and all the different parallels and autographs and jersey cards and relic cards. There's so many different things, but you have to kind of find, what do you like? What do you want to learn about? You can flip cards, you can buy a card. With football season about to start, there may be a second string quarterback that you just know has got a lot of talent, and if he could get a chance, his card could really shoot up if maybe the starting guy gets hurt or something, So, you can buy it now, and then a couple months from now, flip it for a lot more money. But to do that, you really have to know, you've got to stay on top of it. You got to check eBay and look at prices. There's a good resource on PWCC. PWCC has an area on their site. You can go look at recent sold cards throughout several months back, I think. eBay will only let you go back 3 months to see what people are paying for certain cards. So you just gotta kind of do your research, learn, if you like the 90s basketball stuff, which I'm a big fan of, learn about that. Learn what's valuable, what does it sell for, what does it not sell for, and that way you'll know if you found a good deal that you could flip or not. With this new stuff, there is a gambling aspect to it, and it reminds me of like daily fantasy sports with like DraftKings and FanDuel. That's becoming really popular. Sports betting is becoming more legal around, so sports just continue to grow and take off, and I think sports cards will tie into that. Another big thing that I've seen is sneakers. There's so many people that love sneakers and collecting whatever the hot new Jordan sneaker is, or LeBron sneaker, and though that it's hard for teenage kids to buy several pairs of shoes that cost $200 a piece and of their favorite player, and then they run out of room to store all these boxes. So cards is, cards, I just think that there's going to be some kind of correlation there between the sneaker mania and sports cards, and they might come together a little bit. And I really think basketball cards is where you should be investing the money. Not only basketball, obviously baseball cards have been around ever since the tobacco cards and years and years and years ago. So and then football, I tread lightly with football. I like quarterbacks. I think quarterbacks hold their value. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, players like that, Dan Marino's, all those guys that you just know, and you know what you're getting, and they've already proven themselves. And when I'm buying rookie football cards, I like to try and take a chance on, the Baker Mayfields or Lamar Jacksons and players like that. But running backs, it's just more of a passing league now. They do hold some value. Saquon Barkley last year was a rookie with the Giants, and his cards, really went up last year when he started really to prove himself and get results. But it's came down a little bit, and there's just no telling how long they'll be in the league now. You look at some of the best running backs like Barry Sanders, and their cards just aren't worth, even their rookie card in a really good condition is just not worth as much as like a Tom Brady or Drew Brees, somebody like that. So football, collect what you like, collect what you love. As far as an investment standpoint, I only like quarterbacks. There's some wide receivers that are okay, like your Randy Mosses, people like that. And then defensive players, I hate to say it, but they just don't get enough respect in the hobby as far as their cards value. So I think basketball is a good one. There's not as many players in basketball on a team, and you can really kind of filter down to what you like and which players you want to collect and learn about and see what their prices are and that kind of thing. So I I just wanted to get this first video out there and just kind of introduce you to the hobby again. Maybe you're already in the hobby and you're active and you're in all these Facebook groups and stuff like that, and you're on Instagram and you're already, you know, just buying and selling cards already, and that's great. We would just love to connect with you, and maybe you'll join our group, help us out. And if you're new to the hobby and you're just now getting back into it and you're like, what is going on? What are these group breaks? Would you want to grade a card? All of this different stuff. Let us help you with that. You know, join our Facebook group. Let's talk about it. I'll have more videos that I will be making that explain certain things. You know, for example, there's a website called comc.com. It stands for checkoutmycards.com. And I really think that they might take off over the next year or two, because on eBay, a lot of people buy and sell on eBay, but the fees are getting out of control. If you're a seller, the fees have always been a sore thumb. But now when you buy cards, you have to pay sales tax, no matter where you live or where you're buying the card from and all that. And I just really think it's going to hurt card sales on eBay. Because I mean, if there's a card you want and it's only $2 and you got to pay sales tax and then shipping and then the seller has to pay fees on top of that, I just think it's kind of a recipe for disaster. So Check Out My Cards is a cool place where you can send them your cards. They will list them for you in your own kind of store on their website, and they will store them. So if you have your cards listed on COMC and there's one I want, I can buy it, and instead of telling them to ship it to me, I can save all those fees and just tell them to hold it for me, and it'll be under my inventory. So that's how you can quickly flip a card and just you know, you buy it now, and then a month later from now, you know, you buy it for 10, you sell it for 20, that kind of thing. So without having to get it shipped back to you and all that stuff. So I'm gonna make some videos about how that works. I personally have never sent cards to them, so I will be happy to do a video that shows step by step on how to send cards to them. I do buy cards on that site all the time though, and it's very easy to use, and I think that site will really start to grow with all the unfortunate things happen with eBay. The other place is Facebook groups. You know, our group is new. We're just now getting new members in every day. But there's other Facebook groups that we can introduce you to where you can go in there and just buy, sell, trade. There's just every day, all day long, people buying, selling, trading sports cards. So if you want to cash in on this madness with sports cards that's going to be happening over the next few years, and you know, you have big influencers like Gary Vee that are leading the way, and he's already expressed like, hey, I'm buying sports cards, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks. And that's one of the things I respect about him is everybody just assumes sports cards are for kids, and they should be, and we need kids to be interested in sports cards to keep the hobby alive. But at the same time, it's fun to invest in cards and see them go up in value, and just know that that you've got something good. I mean, a good example of me personally as far as flipping cards, there was a Ronald Acuna Jr., which is you know, the Braves rookie phenom. Well, he's not a rookie this year, but he was a rookie last year, and I bought several of his cards. One of them was a short print, which meant it was very rare to get. It was his first rookie card. He didn't have a normal rookie card in the set. This one was just randomly inserted in certain cases, and it was like a case hit. You know, a case of cards has several boxes, and you know, you could buy a box and not get one. You could buy 5 boxes and not get one. And you could actually buy a couple cases and might only get one. So him and Gleyber Torres, which is a young star on the Yankees right now, they both had a short print in there. And I just remember telling my brother-in-law that card is gonna go up in value. And sure enough, man, I bought probably 3, 4, 5 of them last year, anywhere from $35 to about $80 a piece. And right now, with all the hype around him, that card's selling raw, ungraded, for $300 to $400. And if you can get it graded in one of these, a PSA Gem Mint 10, I've seen them selling just, I think $700, $800. I think I even saw an auction go as high as $1,000 last week. So that's just an example of what the hobby can do. It's fun, it's exciting. There's a little bit of a gambling edge to it. But you know, if you're careful with what you're doing, you know what you're getting into, you learn from the right people. It's truly a fun thing to be involved with. So we're gonna make some more videos about all this stuff, you know, what players to look out for, who we're buying, and anything like that. If you wanna connect with us, please join the Facebook group. It's called Sports Card Yard on Facebook. We have a website coming soon, and we'll teach you everything or answer any questions you have. And if you're already into collecting and you probably even know more about cards than I do, then come on in the group too. You know, we'd we'd love to have you in there helping others as well, and buying and selling and trading, and just having a trusted place for us to engage about cards. So thank you so much for watching this video. It went a little longer than I planned, but I just wanted to kind of introduce what this channel is all about, who I am, and hopefully we can connect, and future videos will be some good content for you to learn from and enjoy watching. So thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you don't mind to the channel. That would really help us out. That keeps us motivated. That knows somebody's out there watching this. We're not just wasting our time. Subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. If there's a player that you like, or if you're new to the hobby, tell us, why'd you get back in? How long have you been collecting? Just comment below. I'd love to read all of them and engage with you, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much, and have a good day.